Welcome back to Assertiveness. We are talking about the modern day man. These men try to mize my question. I'm going to ask it again, like I did just before the ad break. How do you fit it into our lives as independent young women who are CPs, 9 to 5, after 5 o'clock we are in the books, we are studying to advance ourselves. I've got my own apartment, I've got my own car. I can go buy sperm to make a baby, I can adopt. How are you guys coming into our lives and complementing it?
Yeah. So to answer your question, right, there's a saying that says the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yes.
So I'm speaking in an African context, and I'm speaking for our generation mostly, So fine, women are working, and women have rights and so on, but at the same time, guys are still paying lobola. They're still writing letters to uncles, so that tradition is sort of like still there, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, ladies are still cooking, What we need to acknowledge in that is that the shift is very gradual, you know what I mean? But to just say the least, the role hasn't changed much,
You're stuck on the fact that nothing has actually changed.
Yeah.
Not really.
Very gradual, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's BAU, business as usual, At the end of the day, as a man, you are still, you and your girlfriend or your wife can still work, right? But you as a man, you are still expected to provide, even if your girlfriend is working, you know what I mean? So there's like a certain role that you still need to fulfill, But it's just slightly changing.
It.
Sorry?
You can escape it.
Yeah, maybe you don't fulfill it to the degree that you used to in the past, you know what I mean? Maybe in the past you used to bring all the income, Maybe now you still fulfill that role, but to a lesser extent. Maybe you pay the bond and you pay for the cars while the wife does something else, But in essence, I think the roles have changed, But I'd like to touch on this whole African issue. But when I actually look at my Western friends, colleagues, it's really totally different. And they've got a totally different paradigm, totally different way of doing things, You actually see a couple in the kitchen,
Yes,
while the wife is cleaning
they were
meats,
hugged as children.
The guy is busy cutting the meat, they cooking together, you know what I mean? In terms of money, it's totally different. They don't have lobola,
Yeah.
And what I actually discovered is that apparently the father of the wife
Pays for the wedding.
is the one that pays for the wedding, you know what I mean? So they have a totally different paradigm, right? But we need to, like in the society that we live in, right? At the end of the day, we are shifting towards that Western way of doing things. But in essence, during that shift, we are still doing things the African way.
So ultimately what you were saying, Fundo, is that it's actually boo-boo on the woman. Because the woman, what has happened, if I'm hearing you correctly, the shift has happened. Roles are now being questioned.
Yeah.
But more than anything, the role of the man has stayed almost the same.
Yeah.
Because the gradual change, all the gradual change is done is that it said to women, you also can work. So we are working, but we are still maintaining our role of cooking.
Yeah.
So we're the losers.
No, so we're not losing. Like I said, we're not fulfilling our role like we used to in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we are still contributing. You know
But
what I mean?
but in your example, you made an example. Your example that you used was not a cooking example.
Yeah.
It was not the woman is the only one who's now cooking. You said the man no longer doesn't necessarily have to be the only one who's now contributing to the money side of our family.
Yeah.
So contribute mina as umfazi.
Yeah.
But upheka ngiyedwa.
Yeah.
How? That means I'm losing as a woman.
It's so different. We get a maid for that, Maids now clean and they do everything, And you'll find that maybe the wife just comes and does touch-ups here and there. But it's very complex. But anyway.
But Emalini akuna touch-ups. Emalini they contribute.
On that cooking point, because it seems to resonate with everyone here. Someone did mention earlier on that obviously your wife may come home late on a specific day. So you'll have to cook.
Have you cooked though? Or have you bought takeaways?
Well, I would have cooked because takeaways are expensive. And you have children as well. You don't want them eating takeaways. I wouldn't want my children eating takeaways. Monday to Friday. Sometimes your wife won't be in the country because she's the modern woman. She travels. She's, board of director. So those things, it has sort of shifted, as Mfuna says. I think it's been a compromise. So, and when I say compromise, it's understanding that, or knowing, from putting it that way, knowing that a woman shouldn't, be the one who has to cook Monday to Sunday.
Yes.
Because
we must all sign an agreement that says there's no such a thing that says I must be the one who is cooking.
Yes.
Okay. So no. We understand that. I hear you guys. I hear where you guys are coming from. I hear the type of modern man that you guys are. But my question is, are you guys looking for the modern life where all these things are happening, where the woman is contributing also in the finances, where, things are, we've got a helper in the house, but in your thought, you guys are still a traditional African man who, in as much as you want to be politically correct by saying women must not cook, but have your minds also made the shift? Look, or are you forced to make the shift because of society?
Look, it's not something which will happen in a day.
Okay.
Myself, I'm still quite traditional in the whole, fine, I'll arrive home, she'll cook, I'll maybe do the manly things. But it's gradually, as Mfundo said, it's gradually changing. It's, you can't, as you said, you can't expect it Monday to Friday for her to cook and still do a job, do the washing and all that. It needs to change. I feel it is changing, but right now status quo is, it's very traditional from my side, and I am changing it. So I wouldn't expect my wife or girlfriend after a hectic day to tell her, no, you need to cook. You need to wash the dishes. She'll cook, I'll wash the dishes.
So can we take away the expectation and just say a woman or a man will cook whenever a woman or a man needs to cook? Because somebody must cook. So whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, or whether it's a helper, it really should not be a big deal. But now, I want to go back to that mindset thing, because I feel like I even see it in social groupings. We'll go to a braai and the men are braaiing and the women are making salads. Is that a thing of, women are good at making salads because men really don't know how to chop cucumber and lettuce? I find that very difficult to understand. Or is it still that men still, especially in group settings, still want to come across like the men? Let's say you're at a party with your girlfriend. Are you still expecting her to bring your plate to you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? Why can't you go dish up your own food?
Because like I said, we are still Africans. We were raised by Abokoko. We were raised by our baby boomer parents. Who are fairly old school in doing their things. So in as much as this change and all of that stuff, at the end of the day, we are African. And if we're in a social setting, we are sitting and women are not playing their role, maybe we might not express it, like men used to in the past, but internally you'd be like,
we are embarrassed, you know
what I mean? Yeah, so we were raised by Abokoko. Some people grew up with their grandmothers, they didn't go to nursery school, and our grandmothers were very, very, very old school, you know what I mean? So we are Africans at the end of the day.
But you guys are very fickle, and I'll tell you why I say that. Because if it's me and you sit together, you and I have an understanding. But the moment you are with your friends, you become this person, understanding. So like it happens quite a lot. For me, it's happened so many times that I'm like, this is not the same person I'm dating. Because all of a sudden, even the way I speak to you now must now change. Because now you are in a group of your friends. What is it about your friends that make you guys want to feel like I'm the man of this house? Because you want to make it very clear to your friends and her friends that you are the man of this relationship. Why? I just don't get, why is it that? What is it? Is it an ego thing?
I think it is definitely probably an ego thing, society as well. So we're supposed to be tough, we're supposed to be hard. Going back to the history, and I don't want to harp on about the history, but that's how it was back in the day, and sadly that continues today in some form or another. In those groups that you mentioned, when you're in the group, it's different, and obviously when you're with your boyfriend alone, that's also very different.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. We've run out of time, but for wrap up, I want you guys, we had an episode earlier on where we spoke about loud women, but not necessarily loud, but independent vocal woman is what it was about. I just want to get your parting words on how you feel about women who are vocal. So in other words, at that party, you're going to say to her how like that's not obviously not in a nasty manner, not being aggressive, but literally voicing out how she feels. Would say, I don't understand why I must bring you a plate. As your parting words.
Maybe it's around how anyone does it, not necessarily just a woman. I think people should have an opinion, definitely.
But you guys are nicer to your boys. If you say to Simo, if you're in a bride situation, and you say to Simo, please bring me a plate, and then Simo's like, Antana. Or like, it's very different too if your girl says the same thing. You're not going to take it the same way because now your boys are watching. That girl just said to her boyfriend. Now the boys are watching. What's your next move?
Well, maybe let's ask these two if you're in the relationship.
Yes.
So.
From my side, as I said, we're still very traditional. And so we'll eventually get away from the whole, okay, fine. Eventually we'll get to a point where I dish up for my girlfriend.
Yes.
Eventually.
Because that's what I'm used to, I'm used to being
10, 20, 50 years from now, but but the status quo of it is that right now is that
she must dish up.
She needs to dish up. She needs to do the lettuce. I need to braai the meat. All those traditional man things.
She must cook.
She must cook. She must iron, and that's how it is right now. Status quo, but it's, as I said, it's gradual. Change is coming. It's happening, maybe not fast enough, but it will come eventually.
Yeah. Your last parting words on vocal woman. A woman that's going to challenge you.
Vocal.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, right, it's just not comfortable, I can't question whether it is ethical or not, you know what I mean? Because sometimes the woman can be right, Yeah, why must I bring you a plate? I'm tired, whatever. I was cooking. Come get your own plate, But honestly, we have been conditioned, to interact certain ways. We're not used to a woman talking to you like that. That's how we were brought up. That's how we were conditioned. Society rules are also like that. So it's like it's stabbing, when you find something like that. Yeah, it's like a shock. But things will change, and it's actually going to be interesting. What the future holds, it's gonna be very interesting. I think we'll be flabbergasted in 50, 60 years from now when we see things unfold.
Flabbergasted does not sound like a positive word to me. But what I'll commend you guys for not doing is nobody brought up the whole respect thing, that it's women are supposed to respect men, because that argument for me is it's terrible. But more than anything, guys, thank you very much for coming through and telling us. But I feel like in as much as Mfundo attempted to answer my question, you did not answer the question of how does the modern day man fit in.
One word,
because
companionship. Companionship.
Companionship. It comes down to companionship, but let's not forget that we are black, and in black relationships, companionship is at the bottom of everything. That's far more important to us, and whether or not he will be able to take care of you, because that is actually important. In as much as women can make their own money, we still sit in our houses and we're afraid of whoever's gonna come in, break in, and we do need a man to be around. But hey, I don't speak for all women. I am still for provide and protect, but not everyone is like that. Guys, once again, thank you very much for coming through. And you at home who's watching, we love you, we appreciate you. Do join the conversation on Facebook at Assertiveness, and on Twitter, I keep calling Twitter social media, on Twitter at Assertiveness TV. We're signing out, and as we always say on the show, really, if you're not assertive, you're not gonna get a man, but really, you can't sit with us.